As many of you guys may know, or the folks that I do know here, I get the opportunity to speak around the world, as Kevin mentioned, a lot. And I was surprised at the size of this room, I'm not going to lie, walking in. And then over the last week or so, when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, I actually, oddly enough, for those of you that know me, I don't get too emotional, but I was getting emotional thinking about what I had the opportunity to say and communicate to this class of graduates in front of me right now. So I have a couple notes here just to make sure I stay on track. But I wanted to start off by saying congratulations, first and foremost, right? And two people to congratulate. One is everyone who is here who is not a graduate. If you all know that anything that you do in life that's been meaningful, you do not do it alone. So for these 160, I believe, graduates there are here today, like it is the friends, it is the family, it is the mentors that I see, it is the staff at Year Up, it is the leadership council at Year Up that helped them get here today. So I just want to say congratulations to you guys, because you guys were every much as part of their journey in this, and being here today as it was for the hard work that they put in. So big congrats to you. The second piece is to the graduates. I can't believe how many of you guys are here. I'll tell a little story about my journey with Year Up, but the fact that there are 160 of you here standing today and ready to walk across this stage makes me incredibly, incredibly proud about what Year Up's been able to do across the Bay Area over the last couple of years. So congratulations to you. I'm sure I will not be the last one to congratulate you today. So yes, I was incredibly humbled when I got the email to speak today. And there's a number of different reasons why, but the least of which, or maybe not the least of which, being that the very first, or one of my first Year Up experiences was back in 2009 when I attended the Year Up Class 2 or Class 3 graduation. We were in a small ballroom in San Francisco downtown. There may have been 15 or so round tables where everyone fit around. There were 40 graduates. This classroom speaker, the graduation speaker at the time, was then Mayor Gavin Newsom. So I've seen all the different speakers over the last couple of years that have graced this stage, and the first thing that popped to my mind was, wow, I'm humbled and I'm honored to have the opportunity to connect with people. So I will start there and I will say that. I will then say that anxiety filled me, nervousness filled me, for two different reasons. Not because I had to come up here and be mayoral, that was not the expectation. I work at Facebook, so I didn't need to come up here and campaign to you guys. But it was the outfit that I was going to wear. You guys know that I work at a company where our CEO wears a t-shirt every single day. And for every single one that knows me, getting in a suit is probably a pretty hard thing to do. So I was pretty anxious of what I was going to wear. Was I going to wear a suit? Was I not going to wear a suit? I thought I chose the right outfit. I got in here today. The first thing that someone said to me was like, oh, I've never seen you in a suit before. That's a surprise. And then I've probably had 5 or 6 other conversations before standing up here where someone has been surprised about the fact that I put on a suit today. But I'm doing it for you guys, the graduates, all right? Doing it for you guys. The second wave of anxiety came from something that was a little bit different. And you alluded to it, Kevin, when you introed me so nicely. I appreciate that. Was that Year Up for me has always been about one thing, and it's always been about the one-to-one connection that I can make with the young adult. It's where it started, that's where it ends, regardless of whether I am a donor, I am a leadership council member, I'm a graduation speaker, but it will always start and end with the one-to-one connection that I can make with a graduate. So the idea of coming up here and being 1 to 160 or 1 to a couple hundred people in this room right now, I was concerned about what type of message I'd be able to deliver that would actually resonate, that you guys could graduate and move forward to the next chapter of your life with meaningful information. So I thought about that a little bit. And I wanted to share some of the things that resonate with me and will always resonate with me, but also give you guys a little step back into where this journey started with me for Year Up. And it started with an email that I wanted to quickly read. I don't know if she is here today, but a woman named Abby Rubin, now Abby Davidson at the time, sent an email in 2008 to a number of people that she knew. She was at the tipping point. This was the very first year that Year Up had reached the Bay Area, and we're looking for their first class of mentors. I just want to read to you the email that she sent out and what resonated with me and what my response was. Hi all. If you're looking for a way to give back now that you've settled into your new job, or you want a break from looking for a new job, I wanted to at least let you know about a fantastic opportunity to be a mentor with Year Up. She then goes on to describe Year Up. Year Up is a 1-year intensive training program for urban youths. In 1 year, participants receive hands-on skills development, earn college credits, and are placed in corporate apprenticeships. She then goes on to describe a little bit more about Year Up. But this last paragraph, too, is important that I wanted to call out. Because youth are trained in technology and business skills locally, partners are providing apprenticeships at Wells Fargo, Salesforce, Kaiser, CPMC, so that recent MBA grads, which I just finished up at Stanford, are particularly well suited to be mentors. She goes on to talk about the time commitments. If you're excited, please reach out to her and let her know. That triggered a bunch of different things for me, and I think Abby knew why she put me on that email distribution list. But I wrote back, and I want to give you guys my response so you know where this begins and ends for me. Very cool, Abby. Definitely something I would be interested in learning more about and potentially getting involved in once I'm back in the Bay Area in January. Thanks so much for the info. Hope you're doing well, Ime. I think a couple weeks later, maybe a couple months later, I actually walked right from my apartment down to the Spear Street office of Europe, poked my head in the door, introduced myself, and that's where my journey started with Europe. So when I think about this, once again, it was all about trying to find the ideals and the opportunity to connect with a young adult one-on-one and be a mentor. So I'm going to give you the same graduates information that I give when I get to sit down with folks like Kevin, or when I get to sit down with the very first Facebook intern named Jessica back in the day, or folks like Jay, or Thomas, or Abbas, or Vince. And I could rattle off all the names of the different mentors over the year that are still participating in the Europe program right now, which are exciting to see them all come back and give back. And any other person who I've spoken with that's been a young adult, definitely a young person of color over the course of the last 10 years or so of my life. And I boil it down into one phrase. It's, you have no room to be whack. So did you guys hear me? You have no room to be whack. And in every scenario and situation where I'm having that conversation with a young person, what that means, what that looks like, what you need to do in order to avoid being whack is actually pretty different. It's nuanced, it depends on where we are in the context. But I think that there's three different things that if I had to think about it, I would at least call out that are probably consistent across any of those conversations that I've had, and I've had hundreds over the course of the last decade. One is this idea that as you're taking this next journey or this next step into your life, that you have to continue to reign and persevere. Be persistent, be persistent, be persistent. As someone who has been now out in the working world for well over a decade, and I've had a bunch of journeys through life, as a tall African-American male, it's been very, very clear that society has wanted to push me towards what their expectation of me. And every time I came up against something, I had to work really, really hard. I had to persevere, I had to fight in order to make sure that I was crafting the future that I wanted for myself, for my family, for my community, and kind of what I had in my head of what I could be and what I could become. When I think about that, I think about a mentor or mentee that I had a couple years ago, Omar, who I don't even know if Omar is here today. If he is, I'd love to see him. But Omar was the very first intern at Facebook that interned for the sales organization. And I remember it was this unique moment where I was like, Omar, you don't know me, I don't know you, we're about to spend 6 months together. But let me tell you one thing, every intern that's come before you has worked in kind of one area of the company. You are the first in this sales organization. You have an immense responsibility right now to be really, really good, not to be whack, and make sure that 5 years from now, there are 10, 15, 20 other interns that are now in the sales organization at Facebook because you blew the door wide open for them. And Omar did that. He executed flawlessly over 6 months. He came back to Facebook and continued to contribute to the company. And I know now he's back at Year Up, right, doing the next thing for the next generation of Year Up students right now. But he persevered. He was persistent during his time there. And I wanted to just say that is one thing that you guys always should take to your heart as you enter your next kind of journey in life. The second thing is patience, right? If you're like me, you want to go, 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 go. You want to get things done tomorrow. You want to get things done yesterday if you actually could. But the idea of being patient is critical and key. We say something inside of Facebook all the time is that it takes a long time, a number of years, to actually have a meaningful impact or to build something meaningful. We celebrate this every single week with what we call face-anniversaries, people that have been at the company for 5 years or longer. I just ran into a colleague in the back of the room, I'm not sure where he is now, James Mitchell, who has been at Facebook for 10 years. He helped build that place over that long, long period of time because he stayed dedicated and he was patient. When I think about patience and I think about folks that I've had the opportunity to connect with one-on-one, I think about Jay Hammonds, who I saw. Someone, Jay, raise your hand. I see you over there. Don't hide. I saw Jay just in the back, right? So he was in your seat, I don't remember how many years ago, But he came to Facebook, same thing. Jay, you got no room to be whack here, right? You got to persevere, create the future that you want to create for yourself. And then you got to be patient. I can't tell you over the course of the last 2 to 3 years or 4 years I've had the honor of knowing him, how many times we sat down, probably at the sweet shop. I like ice cream and cookies, that's okay. But probably at the sweet shop and had a conversation about, no, it's not time to go make that move. No, it's not time to do X, Y, and Z. You need to stay here and continue to be good and be good. One of the things that made me so happy last week was to see Jay post a picture of the fact that he was able to get the Year Up interns, I think 11 of them that are at Facebook right now, and to meet with the CEO and the COO of Instagram, one of the fastest growing technology companies. And the reason why Jay is now in that circle of amazing people is because he was patient, because he stayed consistent and was good. And then he was able to, once again, bust open that door and give access to the now 11 interns or so that came in to meet the CEO and COO of Instagram. The last one is, I think, the most important piece, right? And that's all about that this is so much bigger than you. Although you guys have worked really, really hard, today is your day and we should celebrate the heck out of that. You have to understand that this is so much bigger than you. I'm a man of science. I study computer science and electrical engineering. My mentors and the people that I look to are technologists. But one quote that I've had with me my entire life that continues to resonate with me is from a man of science that actually is talking about giving back to people, and it's Albert Einstein. Quote simple, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. So whatever venue you find yourself in, whether it's technology, whether it's sports, pick your favorite industry, you have to understand that life and a meaningful life is always bigger than you. You guys have done an incredible job over the course of your Year Up experience. You're walking away with knowledge. You're walking away with a network of people that you didn't have before. And the question and the responsibility that I want to put on every one of you is, okay, what do you do with that? Yes, you're going to go and do incredible things with you in your own career. You can change the life of the people around you. You can change the life of your family if you start to think about the responsibility now that you have access to all those tools. Someone described it as, the great graduate described it as magic. What are you going to do with your magic? Are you going to keep it to yourself? Or are you going to make sure that the next generation of people that are following behind you also have access to that magic? When I think about this, I think about back to the very first Facebook intern. So 2010, you rewind a couple years, a woman named Jessica. I like to work hard, and I get up really, really early to make sure I work hard. I'm in the Facebook office by 6 a.m. There are very few people that are in the office at 6 a.m. when I'm down there in Silicon Valley. But over that year, or over the 6 months, when Jessica started, once again, Facebook was unknown to Europe. It was a brand new organization, a brand new company. How are we going to have impact here? Jessica, you have no room to be whack. Let's figure this out together. The determination, the perseverance, the patience that Jessica showed was immense. She was the only other person in the office at 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. when I rolled in. She was already doing her rounds. She was trying to figure out how to navigate this crazy tech world, this crazy company called Facebook, because she knew that 6 years later, which we're now at, that you'd have an intern class of 11 people if she did really, really well. She knew that she was making room and knocking down the doors to make sure that Kevin and other folks had opportunity to actually be an intern at Facebook too. So when you think about what your next step is here, I just continue to put this accountability on you and responsibility on you. It's got to be bigger than you. It always will be bigger than you. Someone opened the door for you to actually be here. Now it's your turn to go and open the door for other people. So you have no room to be whack. If that doesn't resonate with you, I had a conversation last night with someone, and we were talking about Maya Angelou, who is one of my people that I look at and have admired my whole entire life. And Maya Angelou, late in her life, had an interview where she talked about modesty, right? And the reason why she was talking about modesty was someone was asking her what it takes to actually get forward in life and be good. And I say, you have no room to be whack. And yes, there's a patience piece there. There's a persistence piece there. It's a bigger than you piece there. That's really, really critical and important. But it also requires you to be bold, right? And that is not I don't have hubris bold, but it's just be bold and not necessarily be modest, because you are magic. You have magic now. What do you do with it? But I wanted to read a quote really quickly that Maya had in this conversation that may resonate with you if you have no room to be whack doesn't resonate with you. She said, "You don't want modesty. You want humility. Humility comes from the inside out. It says someone was here before me, and I'm here because I've even paid for it. And I have something to do, and I will do that because I'm paying for someone else who has yet to come. So hopefully you guys think about that as you take your next journey. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to meet so many more of you. Like I said, when I started with Year Up, it was 40 graduates in the Bay Area. Now 160 just blows my mind. Congratulations, graduates. Congratulations, Kevin. Everybody else, I just wanted to say thank you. Yeah.